Hey, welcome to the Modern Mountain Getaway. Today, we're out here. It's a Monday morning. It's been kind of rainy, cloudy, overcast. There's a Saharan dust storm lingering around, but hey, it's all good. We're here to work. Hey, thanks for the awesome intro, Jamie. Welcome to episode 9. Here's where we left you last week. We had just finished the roof system, the upper and the lower parts, but we have one little section to go. That's going to be today. But first, we have to connect those upper and lower roof sections that we finished last week. So what we're doing here is building a section of exterior wall that's kind of floating. It just floats between the upper and lower roof trusses, and I have to cut each stud on a bevel to match the roof pitch. The saw doesn't have roof pitch on it, so at first I have to figure out the actual angle of the roof pitch, which turned out to be 13.5 degrees. So I was using a speed square in that last clip to figure out the roof pitch converted to angle, and if you don't know how to use one, I have a great video that teaches you how to use one. To mark the layout for these studs, I simply hooked on the outside edge of the framing and pulled horizontally with my tape. You don't want to pull along the roof pitch, that will mess you up. I measured each stud individually, even though they should be the same. Then we added this blocking to make sure that the OSB had a solid backing along the bottom edge. We installed the OSB on an angle just to save a little material, and that's important to me. To finish this wall off, we wrapped it in our drainable house wrap and then lapped that over the underlayment for the roof and sealed it with some flashing tape. I could sense the guys were a little upset I'd been gone last week, so it was time for a chat. Did you have a good week last week?
Yeah, had a great week there, Lake Boy.
Just left us here to melt.
It was hot at the lake too. It was really hot at the lake.
Yeah.
Man, if I got one more text message with lake life, pictures and everything, dude, I was gonna lose it. Lose it. Lake life. I got your lake life right here, buddy. Did you see that boat they were on? Ridiculous, dude. Must be nice to have friends like that. Oh, and then the kicker, you saw the video?
Oh, the bonus one?
Oh, the bonus video of me at the dock, at the lake. Hey, did you get an invite to the lake?
No.
I think that's some crap, dude.
I know.
Hey, let Perkins know I'm not going to be here Wednesday and Thursday.
Whoa, where are you gonna be?
Oh, sorry, I'll be at the lake.
And you hypocrite.
The last bit of roof we had to build on this house would cover the master bath area and also this little seating area for the owner's Zen garden. And instead of using a laser level like we usually do, we just use a bubble level and a tape measure to establish the height for this post. After marking out the notch for this post, I cut it with my skill saw, but that still left a little material remaining. Here's a good trick of how to get rid of that without using a saw.
Wow! Hey, you want a real chisel?
Yeah, you got a big one?
What do you think?
Yeah, that'll work.
And here's the end of that post after notching out for the beams that will come in both directions. And just like the girders for the other covered patio, we simply lap the other end of the beam into the structure as a load-bearing point. Now the rest of this roof structure was built a little differently. We actually installed the ceiling joists first and then a fascia board on the end of those. Here I'm using a speed square and a string to double check the roof pitch before we cut the rafters. These rafters will actually land right on top of the ceiling joists, giving us sort of a homemade energy truss. The energy truss gives you more insulation depth against the outside wall, and that's the real beauty of it. It also gives you a higher fascia so it doesn't get down into your windows.
Good? A little more. That's it?
Next we got going with our first bit of finished material on this house, this evolved stone, and it's anything but ordinary as you can see here. Our plan is to install this stone from 24 inches down to the ground on the structure and cap it off with a nice water table rock. First we installed this Mortair rain screen on the areas where the stone would go. This gives a spacing of an extra 1/8 inch or 3 millimeters behind the stone for drainage.
I think he's having me lay out for this cap piece.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, and here's the reason I volunteered to do stonework. It kind of installs like a piece of wood. You shoot it with a stainless steel finish nail and the nails just sort of disappear. It's amazing.
That's pretty nice.
Here Arlo is cutting one of the pieces of ledgestone down to size, and one amazing thing is you can cut this stuff with a regular saw, and it's the same color all the way through. After roughing the edges, a quick shot of Thompson's water seal will restore the sheen to this cut edge. And it was at this moment I realized that we did not run the drainage mat up high enough to catch the water table rock, so we had to add a quick strip.
Why'd you let me mess that up?
Oh, you know, it's that excitement in the moment, right?
These capstones are installed with a 4-inch GRK trim head screw right through the face of it, and this was pretty fast and easy as well, no pre-drilling required. The holes from the screw heads are then filled with this textured polyurethane sealant.
Time.
Oh, wow! Chris strikes again. No tree in the forest is safe. Once I had this first section mostly done, it was time for some of the more intricate cuts around the door openings. And again, this was a really easy product to work with. I simply marked on the back with a magic marker, then used an oscillating tool to cut through the stuff, and it cuts kind of like really soft wood, like balsa wood. So this was a snap, and I found this to be the best way to cut this material for any kind of detail. The lower 3 rows of stonework would be going against masonry, so we couldn't shoot it on with a gun, so we're going to glue it. We used a special primer to get the surfaces prepped, and this one little can actually did the entire job. Then to actually attach the stone, we used vertical lines of this trim grip adhesive. The adhesive is installed in vertical lines to maintain the drainage plane behind the stone.
This looks like a classic case of lick it and stick it. Lick it and stick it.
Once we got in a groove laying this stone, it was super fast. In fact, we did the whole house in one day. Jamie went around with the top 4 rows, and we also figured out how to make our own mitered corners really fast and easy with a chop saw. Here Jamie is carving the faces of the stone to match up a little better, since the faces are intentionally irregular. Here's a look at the scrap pile that was left after doing this whole project. Thanks again to Evolve Stone for sponsoring this video. We were super pleased with how real this stonework looked and how easy it was to install. We had saved some of our interior framing for either hot or rainy afternoons, and this was a hot one, so we jumped inside to finish it up. This is in the loft level of the house. We started by adding sheetrock nailers around the exterior walls, and then these nailers which would support the top plate of an interior wall running the same direction as the trusses. I call this a ladder. To plumb up from the bottom plate to where the top plate would be, I used a level and a very straight board. I then marked the point where the top plate. Next, we were on to the half wall that would separate the loft from the stairwell and also give it some privacy from the rest of the house if you want to sleep up there. Since this wall doesn't connect to the ceiling, it needs extra reinforcement so that it'll be sturdy. To achieve this, we lapped these studs down the side of each truss and nailed them off really well, or attempted to, I'll put it that way.
Good?
Yep, hit it. All right, hold up.
Oh, I hit the plate.
All right, can you shoot it for real this time without screwing up?
All right, you ready?
Yep. Bottom. Done. Okay, level. If you've ever felt a super wobbly half wall, they probably didn't lap it down into the floor like this. This is a great way to get sturdy. It's so strong.
All right, give it a shake.
Dude, this wall don't give a shake. I'm serious. And this is the last little wall in the house, I think, just enclosing the underside of the stairs where the washer and dryer will be housed.
All right, we had to cut a bevel cut on the top of all these studs here. And I didn't show it at first, but how I figured the angle for this bevel cut, because it's not a roof pitch, is just the bottom of these stairs. So I took a level, a scrap piece of wood, and I held it up here, and I got the board plumb, and then I just marked that line. Then I take my speed square and take Ray's speed square. Oh, you don't even have a speed square. Let's go over here. There you go. Ray's speed square. Take Ray's speed square, put it up on that line, and you can see we got 37 degrees right there, and that was the angle of those bevel cuts.
The homeowner, Tina, also paid a visit to the job site this week, and she was super happy, which makes us super happy. In the end, this is her home, and we want it to be just like she wants it.
And so this is it. Oh my God. Here, can I do that?
So this whole area is going to be a huge tub. What do you think?
Yes, it's my dream. Like in my mind, I'm gonna be sleeping here.
Yeah, with a
I
view.
won't be leaving this area right here. This is gonna be my space.
Awesome.
And here's the reason she came up, really. I like to walk through the house in person with the owner and mark the placement of all the light switches and all the lights on the framing so that when they show up in the end, everything is exactly where they want it. It's also a good idea to look at the rooms and not just the plan to see what kind of lights are actually needed.
Go right there, centered up. We can do a little 4-inch, smaller one looks cool sometimes.
Okay.
And then disposal.
Jamie also took some time to go over the placement and the heights of the floating shelves for the kitchen for Tina's exact needs.
All right, 54 is a normal, that's normally where your first shelf would be in a cabinet.
Okay.
54.
Okay.
All right. So
And last on the list for today's episode is something I've been doing in almost every episode behind the scenes, figuring material so that I have what I need sitting on site when I show up to do something. Here I'm realizing we're running out of framing to do, and it's time to get all of the siding and trim on site so we have something to do next week.
Dude, all this sweat's making me not be able to function properly. This is ridiculous. Dude, it is way too hot outside to work.
Yeah, I know, dude. You're soaked, man.
I know.
Gosh.
You know what'd be good for this?
What's that?
Ice cold beer.
Get out
Look
here.
at me. I mean,
I know,
seriously.
you're drenched.
I'm sweating. Really? No, we should be out of here. So Ray and I were talking. It's a little bit warm to be working today.
Yeah. It's making me want to shave my beard.
And that, you know it's hot then.
Oh.
Seriously, I should not be sweating like this doing construction. This is ridiculous.
You're disgusting right now.
Alrighty, I'm out of here. Get your truck out of the way, Perkins.